It's my great pleasure to be talking to you, Piotre, today. Could you please introduce yourself and what do you do for business?
Hello, Nour. My name is Piotre Felisiak. I come from Poland. Actually, I live in China. I finished PhD in Poland in electronics and telecommunication. My master's studies in electronics and telecommunication. Then I finished my PhD in what I would call control theory. Then I finished postdoctoral studies in China at University of Electronic Science and Telecommunication in Chengdu in space robotics. When I worked on control of robots which are floating freely in space, are not attached in to anything. So each movement, each motion of arm also cause motion of the base, and they are really difficult to control. So they are interesting from scientific point of view. Currently, I am deputy manager of artificial intelligence technology department in a small company in China, to Indian technology development. However, since October, I am planning to go back to Poland and start a position at Wrocław University of Technology, and where I will work with, I would call this cybernetics. That is intersection of control engineering, control theory, computer science, and something called artificial intelligence. And this is, so it's like this. This is my research interests are cybernetics, control engineering, artificial intelligence. However, actually, I don't think this name is accurate to this field. Programming and all things around. Of course, mathematics. This is basis for everything. This, especially, for example, robotics is just mathematics covered by some applicational layer. Yeah, that's it.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Let's go with the first question. What is modern artificial intelligence?
Maybe let me first try to define what is artificial intelligence. However, this leads us to need to define intelligence itself. Of course, there are many definitions, also semantically different of intelligence, and I don't want to pretend that my definition is the only one valid definition. However, I think a quite sensible definition is that intelligence is behavior which leads to obtain some desired state of the world environment, given the current state of the world, possibly with minimal effort, minimal cost, subject to some constraints like available resources, some, for example, legal constraints if we consider economical systems. This is, I think this is quite sensible definition. And please note that here we talk about, not about thinking, about acting, because thinking alone cannot move us from state A to state B. We can think about different things, but it will move us no further. So, artificial intelligence, according to this definition, is study of systems, frequently called agents, which act in intelligent manner. And in modern artificial intelligence, what is the original question, now is mainly focused on so-called machine learning, in particular deep learning, and I think the branch of deep learning called reinforcement learning uh, is is under the definition I just said of artificial intelligence of intelligence. However, many of modern so-called artificial intelligence, like image recognition, speech recognition, are just pattern recognition. This is area called pattern recognition. Also, we have NLP, natural language processing. This is they are just language models. They are not in, they maybe chatbots very popular. Maybe they try to act as some agent, but they are maybe closer to this definition. However, many of artificial intelligence is only a part of some system, not the whole system. And as I said, mainly this is focused on deep learning. However, also there are other approaches like symbolic artificial intelligence, where we manipulate expressions using symbolic formulas like logic. So basically, this approach is based on logic, and it started in 50s. And still is this research is running. However, it is a fraction, because now people are very excited about machine learning, deep learning. So I think modern artificial intelligence is mostly deep learning, focused on deep learning. Yeah. Maybe let me also say what is actually so-called machine learning. This is maybe I would say this is mathematically this is similar to system identification. That is, given some examples, a system try to remember that examples and even generalize that to similar input, it will produce the similar output. And modern machine learning is based on artificial neural networks. However, the models are only inspired on true neural networks like in our brains. This is very loosely coupled and not an accurate model. However, this is also kind of machine learning, where the structure is just inspired by our brains, and in particular in structure of neurons. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so big for the human mind to understand.
It's very wide area, extremely wide area. As I said, one is based on machine learning, and second branch, historically relevant, symbolic, is completely different calculational paradigm. So they are huge domains with no intersection, with no. It is many scientists tried to connect symbolic artificial intelligence with machine learning, but they failed. So far, there is no nice and clear connection with them, and this field is rapidly growing. People are excited about it, sometimes overexcited, because artificial intelligence has huge limitations. Actually, I don't think artificial intelligence is an accurate word. I would say this is cybernetics, because the definition of getting from state A to B, actually the same goal, solving this problem, is also solved by control theory. However, using precise methods, using mathematics, algebra, calculus, and Laplace transform, and so differential equations, and so on. But artificial intelligence try to get to the same, do the same, but using different methods, and that methods are not so precise, are not so mathematically specific, are just like to say,
Experimental.
Yeah. Sometimes this is just experimentation, not something scientific, mathematically
Proven.
provable. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question: what are the future prospects of AI?
Of course, we could talk a lot about improvements in pattern recognition, like improvement in recognition of pictures. For example, generation of artificial pictures, like generative adversarial networks. They also have a black side of their application, like making deep fakes. Fake news. Bad applications are lively developing now. However, there is one holy grail of artificial intelligence, so I will go straight to this. I think most of scientific researchers are concerned with the notion of so-called artificial general intelligence. So far, one of the major limitations of modern AI is that they are highly specialized. The system can recognize pictures and do nothing more. Can translate text but do nothing more. As someone said, welding robots are not very good in writing poems. Clearly, humans are very versatile. Our knowledge is very comprehensive. We can do welding, but also we can write poem, and maybe a few minutes later cook a dinner. This is completely out of possibilities of artificial intelligence, and I think artificial intelligence cannot go significantly further if we will not build general artificial intelligence. That is something what resembles comprehensiveness and versatility of human being. A kind of general knowledge which we have about different domains of life. We are not even aware how much information we store, how many skills we have, until we try to solve it. Even motion of arm, for us, it requires no thinking. However, for a robotic researcher, it took decades to build control mathematical models and control methods to just simply move a robotic arm. It's very complicated. So I think the most exciting goal is building artificial general intelligence. However, opinions are very divided about whether it is possible or not. And I personally, I'm not too sure whether this is possible given the complexity and versatility of human being. Maybe the best we can do is just specialized parts of some artificial intelligence system.
Yeah. What are the differences between machine learning models and mathematical models?
This is connected with another limitation of modern artificial intelligence. Mathematical models are basically some formulas in form of algebraic equations, differential equations, maybe Laplace transform equations. However, that equations can be using some logical mathematical rules can be precisely manipulated. So we can, given some input, we can calculate output, we can predict behavior of the system for any given input. However, machine learning models are almost like black boxes. They are highly nonlinear. So for all possible input, we cannot predict how the output will be. So, and this is a serious, very serious problem. Let us consider the example of autonomous car. I mean, car without driver, like Tesla or something like this. Many cars in China China does a lot of research in this direction, and maybe whole world does it. We have some input, and the model did not show this input before on training phase, and we cannot predict how the car will behave because there is no mathematical formula. We cannot analyze all possible outputs to all possible inputs. And I think, of course, we can make some safety circuits to cut off engine, turn on brakes or something, which is not, of course, solution on highway. But basically, this is very disturbing because we are not sure how the system will behave. Of course, there are some research on causality that is try to find a relationship between effect produced by the system and cause of what was the effect. We can, given some number of input information, and given some output, we can see which particular input had major influence on the output, on the decision. But basically, this is all. We can not do anything more. We have no comfort of mathematical deduction and analysis of the system. And I think this is a major limitation. It is more serious as it sounds, especially for, but autonomous cars are only beginning. Let us consider aerospace systems or something like defense systems, something like this. Additionally, some people, so we have, because machine learning is closely related to statistics, and statistics basically is able to measure correlations, occurrence of two phenomena, but cannot, most frequently cannot provide causes, and we don't have causality. And this is in science, we are trying to explain things. We are trying to give what was the cause of it, but statistics, in statistics, we can prove some hypothesis or not, but this is only statistical tool. We are not logically sure. We don't see each logical steps, forward the proof and backward the proof. So this is, for me, this is the most disturbing difference and limitation of machine learning and deep learning as subdomain.
So nice and so interesting. And what is the natural language processing?
Natural language processing is essentially what the name says. Of course, this is very, I'm just kidding. But it enables us to process natural languages like Polish, Arabic, English, Russian, Chinese, and so on. Which is very difficult because human language is extremely ambiguous. extremely ambiguous, very hard to analyze. But the analysis, for example, just parsing, that is syntax analysis. For example, we take some words and we try to determine what part of speech is that word. But actually, this sounds not particularly useful. Maybe for grammar check, this is useful, but maybe there is a bigger goal in natural language processing, that is attempt to get some semantic meaning from text. And this is very hard because this is basically understanding of text by machines. Of course, that would be great if that would be possible, because machines can work 24 hours per 7. They don't need to sleep, to eat. They do not complain. They do not have a holiday or something. So they can process information much faster than humans. However, computers are very good in following simple, precise rules. They are excellent at it. And then, however, with some imprecision, they are just terrible. And by definition, natural language is not precise. It's very ambiguous. So this is a challenging task. And personally, I believe that no further development will be possible in this area without some general artificial intelligence, because we can speak in different, as many languages as we know. We can speak, we can write messages in text. It doesn't matter. We can interpret them and resolve ambiguity because we have some general knowledge about world and model, without this general knowledge, we cannot interpret and resolve ambiguity correctly. So NLP is very challenging, maybe one of hardest topics in science, and I'm not sure whether it will succeed fully 100%. Maybe this will be not even possible by machines.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What is the difference between modern and the classical natural language processing?
As I said, some of first attempts, the story of artificial intelligence starts with Alan Turing, the father of computer science, with John Neumann, and many great features. First attempt to solve artificial intelligence were systems based on logic. A prominent figure here is John McCarthy, who attempted to do this, and one of first attempts to process natural language was to build a set of grammar rules and then parse, that is, analyze syntax of natural language using that set of rules. However, natural language, formal languages like C++, Java, and languages like that, they have finite and very precise set of rules. Natural language, always some rule is missing. They are very hard to do it completely, and that systems failed. Maybe because of complexity, because they tried to analyze too precisely. Maybe precision is inevitable. And however, modern NLP uses machine learning models, and basically that means we have some model, and through this model we train this model using millions and billions of strings of of text. So the model will try to learn what is we don't we do not give some rules how to interpret this text. We just teach the model what is the language that after this word it is possible to that we have such word but not this word, and so on. It's like this. Basically we are processing big amounts of text. This is quite related to big data approach. Recent developments are based on extreme amounts of text. However, there is no external memory, no knowledge base which would help us to interpret the knowledge. So even if traditional artificial intelligence failed, I think some of this approach was correct, because in this approach we analyzed syntax of some sentence, and then we compared this with some knowledge base which enables us to connect this particular word with some entity in a real world, some like human, some maybe some for some verb we have some act and so on. Maybe this approach was a good direction, because it is something similar. It enables. It is not merely analyze, analyze of strings of symbols. This is it. It was attempt to semantically interpret meaning of sentence, but modern artificial intelligence just feed statistical models with great amounts of text. This philosophy was born in big data movement from last decade, but I think it will sooner or later it will hit some wall if we will not extend the model with some external knowledge base which will enable us to resolve ambiguity, to interpret it. Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting. Is it possible to build a startup for NLP, natural language processing?
Of course, of course. They are maybe the biggest goal is not solved, and that is correct interpretation, correct understanding of text by machine. However, there are many useful techniques in NLP. For example, sentiment analysis. We have some document, some part of text, and we can decide whether someone speak positively about some product or not. Maybe he or she dislike this product. This information is extremely valuable for marketing experts. This may be one source of value for startup. Another example, sentiment analysis. We can analyze news from whole world. Maybe not correct understanding, even maybe just partial checking for partial information, even for keywords. But that information can alarm us whether something wrong or good happened to some company. This is very useful, for example, for stock investors. They can use it as help because we have no time to watch every news. There are so many portals for experts with so many information, but machine can do this for us, can analyze some trend or some market for us. All of this, this is only tip of iceberg. Many startups can be done can have produced some significant contribution, can produce some value, commercially relevant value. Based on it, even if NLP solves our problems only partially. For example, good example is machine translation. We can put some text. Uh, um, However, nobody will just take a book, put into translator and publish it, because we know that the translation is not correct. We need some human intelligence, because we have general intelligence, to interpret it correctly. Machines cannot do this, but this is just helpful. For simple words, this is helpful. So NLP is maybe only halfway, and maybe this is on the end of the way, because no further progress will be possible. But still, this is useful and can be commercialized.
Very interesting. How damaging are these innovations for the traditional employment mode?
This is, I think, this question interests many people, and there are many opinions, and sometimes very very different opinions about that. So I can present my own opinion about that. As far as I observe, artificial intelligence actually creates more workplaces than it takes, because that solutions are only partial. Actually, the story that will take our jobs is from the beginning of computer era, from since 50s. And the same is with artificial intelligence. No artificial intelligence, so-called artificial intelligence, because sometimes this is just pattern recognition or language model. This is only tool like hammer or screwdriver or calculator or something, which is helpful, but final decision is made by human. We can do some translation using Google Translate, but no sane human will put it further. He or she needs to interpret it, needs to finish this job. On the other hand, when I look at job advertised, there is an urgent need for machine learning engineers, so data scientists, which prepare data for such machine learning engineers. Many conventional programmers which need to integrate that system with existing infrastructure. So-called DevOps engineers, which help to deploy that system. So as far as I see, artificial intelligence actually made much more much more workplaces, and I think maybe the character of work will change in future. Maybe because machine learning and in general artificial intelligence requires highly skilled engineers. All of this is based on mathematics, algebra, calculus, and so on. So maybe it requires people to learn a lot. Maybe artificial intelligence is one of the most demanding areas. So maybe characters of jobs will change, but I wouldn't be afraid that artificial intelligence will take our jobs, because this is not full intelligence in the first place, not human intelligence, so it cannot replace human.
What else would you like to say?
Maybe, as I said, the definition of artificial intelligence is not actually correct according to me. There are many views on that, and the term artificial intelligence is maybe used from historical reasons, because first researchers called it intelligence, and then went into a lecture and said I built a computer who thinks. Because this computer proved some mathematical formula. He used logic to prove that formula, and he was so excited with this that he he announced that this computer thinks. But can this computer write a symphony? I doubt it. For me, this is not true intelligence, and many people are getting excited because they see, okay, this system produce a realistic vision of house. This house do not exist. No human draw this house, but computer created it. It is or maybe system like Alexa, it provides us some response and so on. It is very easy to be excited, to even get fooled by such a device, but we need to remember this is not true intelligence. And I think this is very important to be aware, to not mistake this intelligence with true human intelligence. It is even, maybe this is too strong statement, but I perceive that sometimes it is even anti-human to perceive such systems, to compare intelligence of such systems to human intelligence. And also transferring of our activities to such black boxes. I mean, for example, when we develop mathematical logic, we consciously use our own intelligence to build mathematical model of, for example, let's say a motion of falling body. But in machine learning, we see nothing. This is black box, only an array of real numbers. So we give up to using our own intelligence. We are expecting machine to use some kind of intelligence, let's say. And I think this is even harmful for people, because people stop to think by themselves. Like it is very easy to go into comfort zone and rely only on machine. I think this may be even be harmful and in some ways anti-human, because we are transferring our human possibilities to machine, which is just a machine, which is the same tool like hammer. I think this is even dangerous. Of course, there are hundreds of topics, issues like that. So so-called artificial intelligence is very exciting. Also, maybe the last thing I would like to put, personally, I would like to, for example, there is a branch of knowledge called cybernetics. Maybe now it is like we think about some old school concept from 50s or popular 50s, 60s. However, in the Western world, cybernetics is probably reduced to control theory. As I said, this is also interesting branch of knowledge, trying to get similar goal to artificial intelligence. However, in the countries of former Soviet Union and political neighbors, cybernetics is something more. This is control theory plus all kinds of information processing like computer science. So, and including percepting, including robotics. So, I would say that so-called artificial intelligence could be more accurately called a part of cybernetics, because many people do not feel comfortable to call it intelligence, but somehow this term gets some popularity that we cannot stop to use here the term artificial intelligence. Maybe we will need to fix this notion.
Yeah.
This term in future.
It has been great talking to you, Piotre, today. I appreciate your time and help.
It was pleasure to talk with you. Thank you for interesting questions and possibility, opportunity to talk with you and your viewers.
Thank you.